Oscar never left room 313. A cat in a nursing home. Nothing special. Grey fur, lazy eyes. Staff ignored him for 2 years, until they noticed the pattern. Every patient Oscar slept next to. 25 deaths. Then 50. Then 100. Doctors called it coincidence. Then they called it creepy. Then they stopped calling it anything, because they had no explanation. But here's what kept them awake at night. Oscar knew before the machines did. Before the vital signs dropped. Before the body showed any symptoms. He just knew. Now take that mystery. Multiply it by 1,000. And give it to an animal that has lived beside humans for 40,000 years. The dog. This is not a story about loyalty. This is not heartwarming content about pets. This is about an ability so disturbing, so scientifically impossible, that researchers have spent decades trying to disprove it. They failed. In 1973, a hospital in Ohio noticed something strange. A German shepherd named Tramp belonged to one of the doctors. Tramp wandered the wards freely. Patients loved him. Nurses gave him treats. Then one night, Tramp started howling outside room 7. The patient inside, a 6-7-year-old man recovering from minor surgery, was stable, perfect vitals, scheduled for discharge in 2 days. Tramp howled for 6 hours straight. The man died at 3:47 a.m. Cardiac arrest, no warning signs. Staff whispered about it, then forgot. 3 months later, Tramp did it again. Different room, different patient, same result. By the end of 1974, Tramp had predicted 11 deaths. The hospital's solution? They banned Tramp from the building, not because they thought it was nonsense, because they couldn't explain it. And what you can't explain, you hide. But you can't hide this. Here's what science wants to tell you. Dogs have 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have 6 million. Dogs can smell cancer, seizures, low blood sugar, infections, so maybe they're just smelling some chemical change before death. Case closed. Mystery solved. Go home. Except, no, because that theory collapses when you hear about Captain, Argentina, 2006. A man named Miguel Guzman died. Normal funeral, normal burial, normal grief. His dog, Captain, was at home during the burial. The family never took him to the cemetery. They never showed him where Miguel was buried. 1 week later, Captain disappeared. The family searched everywhere. Streets, parks, shelters. They found him at the cemetery, standing on Miguel's grave. Not wandering, not sniffing around. Standing on the exact plot. In a cemetery he had never visited. In a location he could not have known. Captain lived on that grave for 11 years. Until his own death. Explain that with smell receptors. You can't. In 2007, a biologist named Rupert Sheldrake did something dangerous. He asked a simple question. What if dogs don't just sense death? What if they sense US? He ran an experiment. 200 dog owners. Simple setup. The owners would come home at random times. No schedule, no pattern. Dogs were filmed. In 85% of cases, the dogs went to the window or door before the owner even started traveling home. Not when the car pulled up, not when footsteps approached. When the owner decided to come home, miles away, with no possible physical signal. Sheldrake's conclusion. Dogs are connected to their owners through something beyond the 5 senses. The scientific community's response? They buried the research, called him a fraud, a pseudo-scientist, a crackpot. But they never repeated the experiment. They never disproved it. Because what if he was right? What if dogs are tuned into something we can't measure, some frequency of consciousness, some invisible thread that ties them to the humans they love? And what if, when that thread starts to snap, they feel it? Let's go darker. There's a phenomenon hospice workers don't talk about publicly, but privately, they all know it. In the final 24-48 hours of life, something changes in a room. Dying patients start seeing people who aren't there. Dead relatives, old friends, figures in the corner. Nurses call it nearing death awareness. Science calls it hallucination, brain shutting down, oxygen deprivation. But here's what they can't explain. The dogs see it too. Hundreds of documented cases. Dogs barking at empty corners. Dogs following invisible movement with their eyes. Dogs growling at doorways where dying patients say they see visitors. A woman in hospice in 2019 told her nurse, "The man in the black coat is back." There was no man. But her dog, a 1-2-year-old beagle, was staring at the exact spot she pointed to, growling. She died that night. Coincidence? Once is coincidence. Twice is strange. 1,000 times across 100 years, in every culture on Earth? That's a pattern. And patterns demand explanations. We think we discovered this. We didn't. Ancient Egyptians buried dogs with their dead not as sacrifices, but as guides. They believed dogs could see the path between worlds. The Aztecs believed a dog would lead your soul across 9 rivers to reach the afterlife. Without a dog, you wandered forever. In Persian mythology, a dog's gaze could ward off evil spirits that gathered around the dying. Greek mythology gave us Cerberus, the 3-headed dog guarding the underworld. Not keeping souls in, but keeping something else out. Every ancient civilization, separated by oceans and centuries, came to the same conclusion. Dogs exist at the boundary between life and death. We called them superstitious, primitive, unscientific. But what if 40,000 years of human observation wasn't superstition? What if it was data? Here's where we enter dangerous territory. In quantum physics, there's a concept called entanglement. 2 particles, once connected, remain connected across any distance. Change one, the other changes instantly. Einstein hated it, called it spooky action at a distance, but it's real, proven, documented. Now, some researchers are asking the forbidden question: what if consciousness works the same way? What if the bond between a dog and a human creates a form of entanglement, a connection that exists outside space and time? When you're dying, your consciousness is doing something, transitioning, changing state. Whatever you believe happens after death, the moment of death involves a shift, and your dog, entangled with you across years of love and proximity, feels that shift before your body does. It's not smell, it's not hearing, it's not any sense we have a name for. It's connection, and it's been there for 40,000 years. Since the first wolf chose to sleep beside the first human fire, we domesticated dogs? Or did they choose us, knowing something about us that we don't know about ourselves? Here's what I want you to sit with tonight. Your dog is watching you right now, or maybe sleeping near you, or waiting for you to come home. And some part of that animal, some ancient, unexplainable part, is connected to you in a way that science can measure but cannot understand. One day, your dog will know something before you do. They'll act strange, clingy, restless. They'll stare at you too long, or refuse to leave your side. And you'll think, weird, must be a storm coming, maybe. Or maybe they're feeling the thread, the one that connects you, the one that's been there since the first wolf and the first human made a deal that neither species fully understood. They protect us in life. Maybe they're also trying to prepare us for what comes after. The ancient Egyptians, the Aztecs, the Persians, they all believed dogs were the bridge. 40,000 years of partnership, and we still don't know what our dogs really see when they look past us, into the corner of the room, at something we can't see. Maybe we're not supposed to know. Maybe that's what dogs are for.